Well, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for taking the time to spend with me while I take you through our Latin America and Atlantic Islands by private jet journey. I'm so pleased that you can join us because this journey was a couple of years in the making, and it was really considered and brought to life during COVID. We wanted to look at destinations that were off the beaten track, hard to get to, something that Captain's Choice is quite renowned for, that remote and exotic. And I think this itinerary just absolutely typifies that. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it is an itinerary that is bold, it's beautiful, and it really takes in some wonderful destinations. And of course, you simply can't do that, or an itinerary that you see here, without having access to your own aircraft. So whilst I will take you step by step through the itinerary, and just as an overall glance there, you can see how wonderful that actually is. Again, I will talk more detail about the group dynamics and about the aircraft as well. We start, of course, in London, our meeting place. We understand that a number of our guests travel to Europe during the summer months. It's also a great opportunity for some of our UK regular private jet travellers to enjoy a private jet departure out of their port as well. So absolutely key starting point is London. But as we move forward, let's have a look at the actual aircraft. So we've got a Boeing 757-200 aircraft. Now, for those customers that are joining us for the very first time, please be assured that we've used this aircraft many times before. It is an aircraft that is actually owned by Icelandic, so its place of residence is Iceland, believe it or not. It's a beautiful aircraft. It is maintained and used for private jet charters right around the world. And as you can see, very luxurious throughout, just 50 guests, all with lie flat beds. Again, beautiful lie flat beds. But I will point out that on this private jet journey, and on any private jet journey that Captain's Choice does, we avoid being on the aircraft overnight. So our aim is to take you from one location to the next. The beauty of the private jet is that we usually get to choose our departure time. Our preferred departure time in most cases is leaving mid-morning, having you arrive safely in the afternoon at our destination, and giving you then the opportunity to take that first taste of that destination whilst we organise things behind the scenes and then settle you into a hotel. So whilst we have got capacity for lie flat resting on the aircraft, be assured there aren't any overnight flights. We've got you in some wonderful accommodation instead. And whilst we talk about our private jet a little bit further, there are distinct advantages. I've told you about the slot times that we choose for our guests. We try and make it as comfortable as possible, but it's also trying where we can to expedite those rules and regulations and customs and immigration at airports. So we try and minimize the time you spend at airports and maximize the time in destinations. So when departing, we are able to move you straight through to the security point, take you through security and straight onto our aircraft. Check-in isn't done, it's all done behind the scenes. We do that for you. Your luggage, likewise, moves from one hotel to the next hotel. All we ask you to do is place your luggage outside the hotel room and we'll pick it up, put it on the aircraft. Again, when we've reached a destination, we take your luggage for you and put it into your next hotel room. So as you can see, we try and break down any of the chores that are considered as part of travel and certainly as part of airport formalities. And likewise, when we arrive at a destination, our hope is to simply walk you through an airport to our waiting sprinter vans, coaches, whatever that may be, so that you can get on with seeing those destinations. That's the benefit of your private jet. And of course, your private jet is also your convivial home away from home. So we see a lot of guests getting together, sharing photos, sharing information, and getting to know a bit more about each other. And that's why we simply rotate everyone's seats on each sector. You'll have an opportunity to sit in the front, the back, the exit row, but I can assure you the seats are incredibly comfortable. There's ample room throughout the aircraft, and it is a great meeting place for our guests. Now, as I said, the aircraft, we take care of everything. But for those, again, that are joining us for the very first time, Captain's Choice is very much all-inclusive. So once you have booked your package with us, rest assured that everything is taken care of. In reality, you can leave your wallet at home, credit cards at home, because everything is genuinely included. But of course, who doesn't like a souvenir here and there and a few bits and pieces? So as you wish, bring your credit card. But as I said, everything's included and considered. We are staying at some wonderful hotels, and I'll touch on those as we talk through the itinerary. We've got some wonderful restaurants that we've been to many, many a times as part of group dinners, but also our dine around dinner concept, where we give you the opportunity to choose from 2 or 3 different restaurants. We've got our wonderful team traveling with you, headed up by our tour manager, Susan Higman, and her husband, Gordon Higman. Now, for those that have traveled with us before, many have traveled with this couple before, an absolute delight to travel with, have traveled to over 100 different destinations. They are well versed in not only the Captain's Choice product, but certainly the private jet product as well. And of course, Dr. Dale will be accompanied by her husband as well, who will be looking after the baggage. So always great to know that we've got an Australian doctor traveling for you. She will travel with a medical kit that is suitable for any emergency activities. So please, do not, if you're not feeling well, it gives you a great opportunity on tour to use the doctor's service where needed. Gives you that peace of mind, and you can rest assured that everything will be done to correct any medical disorders that may happen. Tipping's taken care of, transfers are taken care of. As I said, we are here to deliver a wonderful, wonderful journey for you. So everything has been considered and taken care of. I mentioned the accommodation throughout. We start at the Londoner, a beautiful new property in Leicester Square. You'll absolutely love the location. We've also got a fabulous dinner lined up there. And you can see that the accommodation throughout is very much handpicked, but is of the very highest standard. Of course, we do like going to areas where accommodation, that big 5-star accommodation, may not be available. Be assured we always get the very best available, but I can assure you, you'll love each one of these properties in their own right, and they're very magical in the settings where you find them. And two particularly for me are my favourites, the Camino Real in Antigua and the Nayara Alto Resort and Spa, as I call it, or they call it Luxury Desert Oasis. 2 amazing properties, different in their own right, and I'll touch on that when we go through the itinerary. So here we are, folks. Here's the itinerary, starting and finishing in London, going through the Azores. So you've got the Azores and Madeira as your Atlantic islands that we travel via. The Azores, of course, one of the most remote outposts that you can actually go to. The Azores and Easter Island are considered the 2 most difficult outposts to get to as far as tourism is concerned, so we love including them in our itinerary. Moving then on to Guatemala, just get you to pop back down to the Amazon before heading down to the Atacama Desert, and then Salvador. Now, folks, I know that there'll be guests joining us today who are solo travelers, and I should always mention that about 30% of the people traveling with us are solo travelers, and of course we love having that engagement with the tour host team and our solo travelers. So be assured, if we're giving you different restaurants to choose from, that our tour host team will host a table at each one of those restaurants. You'll never feel alone. But one of the things I really wanted to point out on this itinerary, occasionally from time to time, we get the opportunity to run an itinerary without charging a single supplement. And there is no single supplement on this itinerary. So for those who are traveling solo, that's a great advantage for you on this occasion. So let's start talking about some of these wonderful destinations. So we'll start with the Azores, because that is our first stop. I've told you about the Londoner and Leicester Square. We'll meet there. We'll have a great dinner. The team will meet all our guests, and we'll come together. We'll have our first flight in that wonderful aircraft before landing in the Azores. Now, the Azores is incredibly difficult to land at as well. So our Icelandic aircraft does go there on most itineraries that we operate through this area. So they are very experienced in landing in difficult windy conditions, but the Azores is very difficult to land at. So don't be surprised if it is a little bit shaky on landing there. I've landed there twice, and certainly I remember both landings quite vividly. But again, It's just because it's so remote. And then you will just, as you leave the airport, you will see this magnificent landscape open up in front of you. So the Azores, like I said, it's very remote. It's volcanic landscape. It's got hot springs. It's got fabulous, fabulous Portuguese heritage. Of course, the Azores was part of the shipping lane from Europe to the New World. So it was built around those Portuguese and Spanish sort of traders that sailed the ships through those areas. And you'll see that wonderful Portuguese heritage, not only in the hotel that we stay at, but certainly in some of the walking tours that we do. The landscapes, as I said, we'll explore that. We've got a fabulous day trip. Also getting out in these hot springs, you'll see it does look rather murky, but that's the minerals in the water, I can assure you. They say it takes years off you when you bath in there. I've tried it several times. I still seem to be getting older, but it is absolutely lovely and a great way to experience those true natural springs that you find throughout the island group that it is. So the Azores, couple of nights there, really to explore the island, explore the landscapes before then we fly on to Antigua, Guatemala. Now, folks, this is one of my favorite destinations for the sheer fact that once you actually arrive in Antigua, you'll go to the hotel, the Camino Real, and you'll stand in the driveway and you'll see the city is surrounded by 4 volcanoes. That's one of them in front of you there. You'll also have this beautiful Spanish colonial architecture right at your footsteps at the Camino Real. So the Camino Real is actually an old monastery that's been converted into a hotel, a beautiful 5-star hotel. You'll absolutely love the property, but you'll love the vicinity because you can quite easily just walk from the hotel into the city centre. And the city centre, when we're talking about the city centre, is very much in keeping with the vista that you see there. There's no modern high-rise apartments, so on and so forth. It is still an old Spanish colonial town. You'll get an opportunity to explore that as part of a walking tour, but you can do so much by yourself as well. We'll also take you to the Chichi markets, which are the largest markets in Central America. Very much indigenous markets as the Mayans used to have them. So you'll get to see the wonderful produce that they produce in the region. It is just a colourful spectrum of everything that you would expect from a market. It is a day out that you will certainly remember. And this is one of the many, many graveyards that you will pass along the way when we are traveling around the region. They're very much about bringing life and colour as part of the funeral process. And as you can see there, you're gonna, if you look closely, they're actually tombs, and people are walking around the tombs there. But it's all about the colour. And it's really unique. You'll absolutely love it. Coffee is grown in the region. We'll explore that further. You'll have an opportunity to jump in a helicopter and have a wonderful, wonderful trip around the area where you can actually see from the air the 4 volcanoes and the city itself. That's well worth it. All included, as I said. A terrific stop. And of course, the fire ceremony, the Mayan fire ceremony, you'll be part of that as well. And I will say that there is an absolutely stunning dinner in Antigua in a really unusual location, one that you'll absolutely love. I won't give too much away, but I can tell you that you will absolutely enjoy Antigua, every part of it. So we move on to the Amazon from Antigua. Now, it is going from one kaleidoscope of Spanish beauty and culture and volcanoes to a whole new rainforest landscape. So what better way to explore the Amazon than to have your own vessel? We've got 2. We've got both Aqua vessels, Aria and Aqua. Lovely, lovely vessels. Take up to 26 guests each vessel. So we'll split the group in 2, but we'll move in tandem, and we'll explore the Amazon. Of course, these vessels are not only just luxury vessels to transport you from one area to the next, but they'll have naturalists on board. They've got zodiacs on board, so you can do further exploring. And look at those. Look at some of the shots there of the vessel. Very comfortable accommodation, floor to ceiling windows, so nothing like laying on your bed and just watching the world go by, but far better to explore it in one of these wonderful zodiacs, or even by foot in some areas. And the wildlife you will see is just absolutely spectacular. The bird life, and of course the flora, fauna, some of the most, well, intriguing water lilies I've ever seen in my life. Some of the water lilies' petals or leaves are the sizes of tables. It's just absolutely incredible. Again, a region that offers so much. You'll also obviously be introduced into the Indigenous heritage of the area as well, meet some local tribes, and certainly have that cultural aspect as well. 3 nights on board one of these vessels, no better way to see the Amazon. And then from the Amazon down to Calama and the Atacama Desert. And I said, it is from one landscape to the next. You've gone from your rainforest and beauty, your flora and fauna, to the oldest and driest non-polar desert in the world, which is the Atacama Desert. So much to see. They before Saudi Arabia became popular, they used to do a lot of filming down in this region and used to call it Mars, because this is what they believed the Mars landscape looked like. But you'll find yourself in amongst these beautiful carved out hills, staying at, as I said, the Nayara Alto luxury desert oasis. It's got all the spa facilities as well, so you'll be absolutely treated to wonderful spa treatments, and also the spa pools. Really gives you a great opportunity to relax. But in the Atacama Desert, like in most places, we've got some set touring for you, but we've also got some touring of your choice, so that you can choose to do what you really want to do. We like to do that in most destinations. It's just one of those ways of breaking down the group, but also letting you personalize your holiday. So ballooning, hot air ballooning is an opportunity there. Going out to the salt plains to see the wonderful flamingos, or one of the many salt ponds that you could absolutely float in like the Dead Sea. Great opportunities for touring. But again, we let you decide how you want to spend your time at the Atacama Desert region. And as I said, it's just a contrast of all the areas you've been. So just to throw in another contrast, and that is to take you to a main capital city, Salvador. Now, Salvador is one of the oldest cities in the Americas, and the actual historical center is a UNESCO World Heritage listed site. We'll be staying very close to that. But it grew up in the 1500s, very Afro-Brazilian, they call it. Recognized Salvador very much for its music, its culture, and of course its architecture as well. It is a city that holds a lot of heritage and a lot of beauty, but modern society is taking over as well, and you get to really feel that when you're in Salvador. On the ocean side, of course, so you've got your wonderful waterfronts, and we'll see that as part of our touring. And again, your world options are aplenty in Salvador, whether it's a walking tour or a driving tour. We've got so many options for you, and you really will see that this is a beautiful Portuguese city that grew up on the coast and has now really become one of Brazil's main cities. And then we fly over to Madeira, and that's our other Atlantic island. And Madeira is a beautiful, beautiful island. So much so that I'd rate the drive from the airport to the beautiful Reed's Palace Hotel that you see here as one of the most fascinating drives that you'll ever have. Again, it's almost rainforest-like landscapes in some areas. and volcanic in other areas. And absolutely beautiful botanical gardens that you have the opportunity to visit, some classic restaurants as well, and again, touring throughout the island just to really bring you the very best that Madeira has to offer. Very popular with Europeans during the summer months, where they're sort of at the end of the European summer holiday period, so it shouldn't be too busy. But I can assure you, we've certainly got the best suites available for you at the beautiful Reed Palace Hotel that we've got a shot of there. And just laying in that pool right on the edge of the cliff, looking out into the ocean is spectacular within itself. And then, of course, we fly back to London. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Latin America and the Atlantic Islands by private jet. Now, for those that may not be interested in going to London or have been to the Azores and Madeira before, we have got a shortened option available for those that want to fly into Antigua and out of Salvador. It's a great opportunity to see 4 wonderful destinations, be part of the group. And again, we're just offering this because there have been some people that have mentioned that they've been to the Azores and Madeira before and feel they would be better off flying directly to Central America and out of South America. Of course, our team will help you with your flights, whether you partake in the original itinerary in and out of London or choose to do the shorter itinerary out of Antigua and Salvador. The team will help you organise flights to and from all of these locations. We're very much part of being a one-stop shop. We invite you to ask any questions now if you have any questions, or alternatively, we have got our team on the ready, on the phones. You can call them at any stage and they'll certainly be able to answer any questions that you have. I have just had a question filter through about fitness levels on this itinerary. Medium fitness levels are required. Certainly there are a couple of options available for hiking, especially in Antigua and also the Atacama area. Now, that is certainly an option for you. We don't make the group do these hiking exercises. So those that do prefer a little bit more fitness as part of their daily programs, that would be one of your world options, would be to go the longer walks and also some hikes. And as I said, Atacama and Antigua are part of that, as well as, and I should say the Azores as well, there's an opportunity for a great hike there as well. So as I said, medium fitness levels. It is getting around some of these older towns can be a little bit more difficult with the cobblestone streets. But be mindful of that. Again, once we're on the Amazon, on the vessels, in and out of Zodiacs, a little bit of fitness required there. As I said, moderate fitness levels would see you comfortably through this itinerary. So we don't have any more questions that have come through on this webinar. So I will end the webinar by saying thank you so much for your time. I was hoping to keep it to 20 minutes. I see that I've gone over that. By all means, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to call our wonderful team. And believe it or not, I'm happy to take your calls as well. I'm certainly happy to speak to anyone and give you more details about this wonderful itinerary. I am in the office over the next week and a half. Please just ring the office or email the office. I'll be more than happy to give you a call. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Captain's Choice journey.